Hello, Saints. We're still here in the week where we're looking at the first four trumpets. And I just want to kind of get a little better handle on what we're looking at when we read those first four trumpets. They're not just God pouring out his punishment and wrath on those who had persecuted Christ. This is usually pictured in the traditional historicist view from the evangelical community, picked up by Uriah Smith even for his book Daniel and Revelation. And what we see here, though, is not God punishing because they killed Christ. What we see here is that God is showing us things here on earth, letting things happen to get our attention. We talked about the first angel coming with hail and fire mixed with blood thrown into the earth. And we talked about God's people suffering from that. A third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. With the second was something like a great mountain. We said a mountain was a nation, a kingdom, thrown into the sea. Babylon was one. We see that in Jeremiah 51. It's like a big stone cast into the sea. A third of the creatures which were in the sea and had died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. A third angel sounded. The great star had fallen from heaven. Remember, we mentioned that about the star who had fallen, which we will when we get to the first woe. This star is not just a star like a comet. The star is a picture of Satan. It's a being who falls from heaven, burning like a torch. He comes to the earth, and he brings wormwood. He's the one who sours the water and makes it bitter. And fourth angel sounded and struck the sun. A third of the moon, third of the stars were struck. This has nothing to do with the falling of the stars you read about in the sixth seal. This has to do with the darkening of God's word. The light isn't going out there. And you sometimes wonder, right now Europe is so bad, only about 1% or so are Christians. And it's getting to be that way here in America. The light's going out. The enlightenment seems to be winning. Or does it? This is the problem with the first four horses of the seals. We see the horses starting off great with the gospel, but they kind of peter off to the last horse of death, with hell following after. It's like the gospel's not going anywhere. The church isn't accomplishing its job, that God's gospel seems to be lacking power. It's the same thing we see here. And this, with the church, who are kingdom builders, need to take the initiative to build the kingdom, to bring the message out of the gospel to people so that they can be saved. They can find hope, because now we're coming into an age of hopelessness. This is the first four, and it ends with the seeing of this eagle. Sometimes it's written as a vulture, not just as an angel. And it's flying in mid-heaven, kind of like the first angel's message. I saw an angel flying in mid-heaven, having the everlasting gospel. Here he sees this eagle flying, or this vulture flying in mid-heaven. It's either way, a vulture or an eagle, it's a bird of prey. The bird looking to destroy. Woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth. Who dwells on the earth? You and me? Well, actually, this verse here, this phrase, those who dwell on the earth, is used about 10 times in the book of Revelation. And each time, without exception, it refers to unbelievers. You and I, as I said before, Ephesians 2:6, we sit in heavenly places. That's our place, de facto with Jesus. We might be here, but our place is there. We're heaven dwellers. Those who dwell on the earth are the ones we had to give the gospel message to. And this woe, woe, woe is given to those who dwell on the earth, to those who don't have the message of Christ. That's not to you and me. So we need to get the message out. As the trumpets blast, continue into the last three woes that we'll pick up on next week. Blessings.